Hey yo, LAZ, Gen Pop gang, we in the building. Comment gang, you already know what I need you to do. You heard? Slim Blunt gang, we run New York City. Peace and shout out to the God Born Magnetic from Tompkins. You heard? Shout out to the whole Bed-Stuy Brooklyn. If you from Brooklyn out there, let me know what block, what Ave, what street, what projects, what boulevard you out there reppin'. You heard? Shout out to CANARSIE on this one too, the Flossie, you heard? If you from CANARSIE, get in them comments and let it be known where you reppin'. And that's a whole fact. Z-Man, Suicide Polo with the ski man, running around the hood like He-Man at 3 a.m. with 3 swams, looking for a dude that ran off with 3 grams. You heard? You already snowball fight. Shout out to the bro Aunt B for giving me that one. You heard? Cash App donations, $ Gen Pop fam, if you feel compelled to show that love for this heat that I be putting in the streets. If you need promo on this channel, make sure you send me an email at thegenpopllc@gmail.com or hit me up on Instagram at Real Saint Laz and I'll get back at ya.
And next thing you know, they in cars coming after us. You know what I'm saying? Like 2 cars with loads of people who's coming after us. And they trying to run us over. And then they jumped out the cars with machetes and swords and shit, you know. So we, at first, even though we was running, we had hammers on us, but they had a car. So they were trying to run us over. So we got to, you know, eventually we made a few twists and turns to cut up this block, cut up that block. And we got our shit out and we said, man, when they come around that corner, we gonna light their ass up. You know what I'm saying? Now, what I was going to say, I had forgot to mention, because the very, very first time when we first moved to Tompkins, right, it was, the family had rented a U-Haul truck, because we had to get all our furniture, you know, the beds and everything. So, it took us several trips. We had one, you know, we had the crazy big U-Haul truck, but it took us several trips. But I remember on the last trip, the only thing we had left, we had a bird, you know, a bird cage with a bird in it. So on the last trip, when we went to get the bird cage, a lot of the guards that lived on East 103rd Street with us, you know, came. They had never been to Tompkins before, and they wanted to see what it was like and all that, you know. So when we went, like, we had like the whole back of the truck. It must have been like 12 brothers or something like that. You know, they got, you know, a lot of old time guards that ain't even with us no more, like Shah, Shamar, some of my closest comrades, you know, Supreme, Maru, some of them still around too, you know, Black Shamik, Ron Du, the brother Bush that recently returned to the Essence, you know, DJ Bush, you know, and but a lot of brothers came with us to the prop. But when we got there, being that we moved early in the morning, so when we got there, it wasn't like it was a bunch of brothers in the projects or nothing like that. So, you know, it was like we came out there and a bunch of dudes was like, who these brothers or whatever, you know. But they came out there because they wanted to see what it was like. And they also was like, you know, they said, you know, well, we're going to come out here and check y'all, you know, from time to time, whatever like that, you know, with the guards. So, but yeah, I remember, you know, when we pulled up in the projects and all that, it was, certain people that was, you know, they, like sisters, it was a sister that lived in the 77 that was calling us out the window and all that, you know. A sister named Tracy. I think the brother Spoonie wound up marrying her. That's what they told me anyway. That might be his wife now, but I remember back in the days, you know, when we pulled up in the projects and all, she was calling us out the window, even just greeting us or welcoming us or whatever, you know, like that and shit. But yeah, we got acclimated real fast there, you know. Like I said, at first everything was peace with Tompkins and the brothers in Tompkins. It was never really no beef like with us, really, you know. I mean, a little incident may have happened later on in time and stuff like that, but, you know, mostly the beef was between other projects in the surrounding area, like Sumner and Marcy, because they so close, you know. But that was a special time for me because, you know, a lot of them brothers are no longer with us. You know, and Shamar was like his old Urpich, the babysitter, Panamanian brother, was a good brother, you know. he went to military school and all that. He did time before and all that. He was a little bit older than us, you know. He learned a lot. His brother was good with his hands. You know, he taught us how to box. He knew the 52 blocks and all that. He was teaching us a lot of different stuff, you know. And he was sharp mentally too. His brother wrote the manifestation to my name and all that, you know. But he was a good brother. He died young. He got killed back in 1981. You know, doing the burglary, and it made the newspaper and all that. You know, I mentioned it in one of the documentaries. You know, I mentioned it. You know, about the guard Shamal, because he was a gifted and skilled rapper. You know, he used to go uptown and battle all the best rappers like Busy B. Starsky and Curtis Blow and all them dudes. I remember he slayed Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and you know, he used to go out there and go at all them dudes. You know, and the guard was sharp. You know, but we lost him at a young age. You know, but that brother was with us when we first came. You know, he was one of the brothers that rode with us when we first, you know, moved out there and all that. So
you said he died in doing a burglary?
Yeah, doing the burglary in Canarsie. Because I was telling you, before we moved to Tompkins, we used to, when we lived in Brookline, you know, we was already, you know, getting money out there, you know. But like I said, we wasn't doing nothing in the hood. We was going in the suburbs and stuff, you know. We was doing burglaries and stuff like that. So, the guard got killed doing the burglary back then. But, you know, I was saying that the reason I was mentioning the burglaries, because what I was trying to tell you was, by the time we already moved to Tompkins, we already had, you know, hammers and stuff like that. We already had jewelry. We already had certain things we already had, because we was already into that lifestyle. We already had knowledge of stuff before we moved out there.
But
you know what I'm saying?
How he got killed, though? He got caught by the owners, and like somebody was home while he was doing the burglary or something?
Nah,
or the cops?
Like, we wasn't, like, when we never was into no home invasions. We wasn't doing burglaries when people was home. You know what I'm saying? We hit the crib when nobody's home. That's how, you know, that's how we was doing it, you know. And I was a little too days to pick up, and I used to go through the bathroom window and open up the door for them and all that shit back in the day. But anyway, you know, yeah, we wasn't doing, after the guard got killed, if we ever did any burglaries after that, those of us that was, you know, that was close to him and knew how serious it was, you know, we would probably be strapped or have something on us if we, you know, if we doing the burglary then, because you gotta realize the seriousness of it. When you young like that, you don't really understand. But like now, imagine you come home with somebody in your crib. See what I'm saying? So that's how you gotta look at it, you know. So I get it, you know. He was in there, they was hitting the crib, and the people came home. They came in with the keys through the front door. So they ran through the back door, you know, to get out. And the guard was trying to climb over the fence and get away. Yo, shot him in the back, I think 4 times. He shot him in the back 4 times. He died he died at the top of the fence, hanging, half his body hanging over, you know? And he died like that, on the top of the fence like that. When we came and seen that shit, man, that shit almost started a big riot. But the only reason the thing get crazy was because he was wrong for you know, doing the burglary. You know what I'm saying? But
you said it was the homeowner that shot him?
Yeah, it was a correction officer.
Oh, he was a CO?
Yeah, because like I said, it was a house. It was a house. It wasn't in, you know, in the projects or nothing like that. But we lived a block away. Like, we lived on 103rd Street in Brookline. You know, that's where the Brookline starts at, or depending on which way you come from. If you come from East New York, it starts at Williams Avenue. Then it go 108th Street all the way down to 103rd. But if you're coming from Canarsie, Rockaway Parkway area, or Bay Ridge, Sheepshead Bay, or any area coming from that direction, 103rd the project start. So we was going beyond 103rd. We was going back there 101st, 190s, and you know, and all that. You know, and there was a lot of different Caucasian people that live back there. It's all West Indians that live back there now, but there used to be nothing but Caucasian people back there. All different types, a lot of Italians, but Yugoslavians, and all different types of Caucasian people back there. But anyway, Jews and all that, you know. But so we was going back there hitting cribs, you know. So you know, the guard was in there hitting the crib when they came home. He tried to run to get away, you know, but he, you know, well, he wasn't by himself. The other brother got away, you know. But anyway, yeah, man, you know. So, but that was a red flag, you know, a warning sign to us that how serious it is, you know, when they come to hitting them cribs, because it is serious like that, you know. When we was young and wild, we wasn't thinking like that. We was ripping and running. When you get older, you realize somebody go in your house, you got your family there, you might have children there and all that, so you got to protect your home. You know what I'm saying? You know, but when we was young and all that, we wasn't thinking like that. We was just thinking about getting money. You know, we wasn't in there trying to hurt nobody. We was going there, take the money, take the jewelry, you know, take guns and, you know, and anything of value, anything that we wanted like that. Nobody taking no stupid stuff like TVs and VCRs, and we wasn't taking no stuff like that, you know, but, and then from hitting so many cribs, we started learning about all other kind of things that had value, like vases and Persian rugs, you know, paintings on the wall, especially depending on what kind of painting it is. It might be a painting on the wall, it might be $100,000, $200,000 painting, you know. So it's a lot of different things that have value that, you know, we learned about later on. But when we was young, yeah, we just was kind of like ripping and running, man. So you know, we didn't realize the seriousness of it until when that brother returned to the Essex. Then we realized how serious, you know, this is a real serious thing, you know. It kind of made us move away from burglaries and started going into more other stuff. One of the first cases that I went up north for, you know, was the result of a burglary. That shit led to a shootout, you know what I'm saying? Similar to like that with the people coming home. But then in this circumstance, we robbed them when they came home. You know what I'm saying? And then when we got up out of Dodge, they went and got help, like neighbors or whatever. Next thing you know, it's a bunch of people chasing us with machetes and swords and all this shit, man. So,
what you mean? Y'all was talking about in CANARSIE?
No. This was some Far Rockaway shit. This was a case that I caught. You know, me and a co-defendant of mine. But we had to let them things go because they was trying to run us over with the car. They jumped out machetes and swords. They was some wild Latin folk. You know, we didn't know who we was hitting. This was in the private houses too. We was doing burglaries in the projects or on the hood. You know. But sometimes you got people of color that got money and they might have a house in the suburbs, you know what I'm saying? So we didn't know though. But yeah, them people was coming, they tried to get at us. We had to let them things go, you know? So it got crazy because
what happened though? What happened? You said dudes came home while y'all was doing a burglary?
Yeah. So when you know, it was a couple. You know what I'm saying? So when they came home, you know, we booked them for the shine they had on. You know, and took their money, you know, like, you know, we was young and wild and crazy, man. And then we got up out of there. But when we left, they called like I guess they went and rung their neighbor's bell or whatever. And next thing you know, they in cars coming after us. You know what I'm saying? Like 2 cars with loads of people was coming after us. And they trying to run us over. And then they jumped out the cars with machetes and swords and shit, you know, so at first, even though we was running, we had hammers on us, but they had a car. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, you know, things happen and you might not get a chance to pull your hammer out. Like if somebody starts shooting, you got a gun in your waist. If you go for your gun, you might get hit. You might have to get out of Dodge and get behind a car, get behind a tree, or get to somewhere where you can get your gun out, you know what I'm saying, and then fire back. If you don't get out of Dodge right then and there, you might get hit. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you got to get out of Dodge. But if somebody come at you run with a car and you ain't got a chance, you unexpectedly, and they coming speeding at you, you ain't got a chance to get your hammer out, then you got to get up out of Dodge. Like I said, they was trying to run us over, so we got to, you know, eventually we made a few twists and turns and cut up this block, cut up that block, and we got our shit out, and we said, man, when they come around that corner, we gonna light their ass up, you know what I'm saying? Nobody got hit, we lit the car up and all that, though. But then, when we got up out of Dodge from there, and we ran into another crib, you know what I'm saying, to get away, you know, like to refuel and shit, you know, we ain't bust every single shot in the gun. You always try to keep one in the chamber, you know, but anyway, when we got up in the next crib, nobody was home there, so we wound up hitting that crib, and then the next thing you know, the police came from everywhere. It seemed like fucking helicopters and all kinds of shit. They came from everywhere. Motherfuckers had the whole spot surrounded, man, and then, even though it was all one case, at the end of the day, we got charged with, 2 counts. We got charged with burglary, robbery, 2 burglaries, matter of fact. 2 counts of criminal possession of a weapon, 2 counts of criminal use of a weapon or firearm, and 2 counts of attempt murder, and then 2 counts of criminal possession of stolen property. At the end of the day, it was like 8 felonies and 2 misdemeanors, all in one case. That should make my record look real bad, you know, but it's all one case, one indictment. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was the first bit. I might have copped out to a 3 1/3 to 10 on that shit, you know, because I was facing 8 1/3 to 25, you know, and we got caught with smoking guns. It was really no way around it. They had the jury, they had the people to come and testify, and I wasn't taking a case like that to trial. You know, so I had to take that one and hold it down.
I was trying to look in the New York Times website to see if I could find that case where that burglary where the kid got killed. You remember his name? His full name?
Oh, I got it. I'm gonna send it to you.
You got the article?
I'm send it to you. Yeah, I got the article.
Oh, alright, bet.
I hope it gotta still be in my phone, man. I gotta go in the archives though, because the brother Biggie sent it to me. He was the brother that was directing for me.
What was his full name, you know?
Whose full name? Shamar or the brother?
The one who got killed in the burglary.
Sylvester Ellis.
Sylvester Ellis?
After 1981. I'm gonna pull it up though. Yeah, his name is Sylvester Ellis. It happened in 1981. I believe it said he was 17 years old when it happened. Because Biggie sent me the article.
Now, I found it in the New York Times. April 12th, 1981.
Sylvester Ellis, right? It's just a correction
That's
also.
crazy. Yesterday.
I told you the true story. They lie in the paper, but I told you the truth. And it doesn't say CANARSIE. It says something else, I think. Chief said Bay Ridge. I think it's Bay Ridge or some shit. But it's CANARSIE, clearly. You reading the article?
It's loading. The shit taking forever to load. I don't know what's up, but I know this shit was April 12th. This shit was April 12th, 1981, and that was yesterday, April 12th. So that's crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it said an off-duty New York correction officer shot and killed a teenage burglary suspect last night in the Bay Ridge section of Brooklyn. The police said the officer, 31-year-old Philip Mistrada, shot Sylvester Ellis, 17, of 719 East 103rd Street in Brooklyn at 7:55 p.m. while investigating sounds in the rear of his father's apartment building, a police spokesman said. According to preliminary police reports, Mr. Mistrada let himself into the father's apartment, whose address was not released, and found that it had been burglarized. From the rear of the apartment, he saw two young men leaving the backyard carrying a number of objects. The police said the officer identified himself and drew his revolver. The two suspects, apparently unarmed, rushed him, and he fired twice. Shortly afterwards, investigating detectives found Mr. Ellis dead in a nearby yard at 1069 East 98th Street. The other suspect, also believed to be a teenager, escaped. It was not known if he was wounded. As a peace officer, Mr. Mistrada was authorized but not required to carry his pistol while off duty. According to a spokesman for the correction department, the officer works in applicant investigations. So he was an off-duty dude just carrying his piece.
Yep, that's it, word is born. That's the article right there. That's it, word is born. Yep. That's it, man. They killed my fucking comrade, man. Word, man. He was a talented and skilled rapper, man. He was the first one I ever heard to break their name down. Like Jekyll and Hyde and all them. He did all that shit against them. Then a lot of dudes started biting his style, you know? Like, what I mean by that, like, his name was Shamar, so he would say, you know, what the S meant, what the A meant. I don't mean supreme mathematics. For example, he might say, okay, I heard him say before, it's the S-H-A to the M-A-R, your number one superstar guard, Shamar. You know, but then he would break down what the S mean and the H mean and the A mean. Then he'd break down the M, the A, and the R, but all in a rhyme. You know, he'd break down what his name mean. Not so much, he could do it in supreme mathematics, but he could also do it in a rhyme, just period, you know. He was nice like that, a versatile rapper like that, you know. And we used to record all this shit. We had the big radios with the pause button and shit. We used to make the pause button tapes back then. And we had all the tapes back then from when he used to battle. He was slaying a lot of these dudes, Busy B, Starsky, Curtis Blow, Jekyll and Hyde, a lot of them. I can't even remember all of them, but he used to battle all them dudes. And the guard didn't lose too many battles. He was the original guard MC, way before Rakim. So I'm saying Rakim was the 80s, you know, mid-80s. You know, Shamar go back to the late 70s and early. You see, he returned Essence in 81. He was rapping, and we was hitting cribs and all that from back in the 70s. You know, so yeah, man. Like I said, the God was ahead of his time, man. He was influential on us in a lot of ways too. He was on some real grown man stuff as far as the way he used to dress. He always wears suits and slacks and shoes. You know, this is before we knew about Clarks and Valleys and all that. You know, the God always had that type of stuff. You know, he used to always rock blazers and all that. You know, even though he was young, you know, he was ahead of his time, man, in a lot of ways, man. And yeah, man, the brother, you know, was real influential on me and Kay. You know, like I said, his old Earp used to babysit us and all that. You know, since his family's from Panama and Central America, my old Earp and his old Earp had a bond. My old Earp trusted his old Earp enough that she would leave us, you know, to stay in the crib. That's why, you know, he taught us a lot. I told you, the brother, you know, he went to military school. He did a little juvenile bit or something before, so, you know, he was good with his hands. You know, he was teaching us boxing. He was teaching us, you know, 52 blocks and a lot of different things, you know. And the brother was sharp too from way back then, you know, as far as with history and science, you know, he was sharp, you know, as a young brother. And yeah, man, you know, the God, man, is greatly missed. And anybody that knew him, you know, he touched their lives, man, especially from back then. Like the brother that used to be the DJ for him, after that brother got killed, that brother, you know, changed and turned his life around and all that too. Like he went to the military and all that, you know, he stayed, you know, he turned his life around. He said, you know, because that's a wake-up sign when you lose a brother like that. You know, some of us though, you know, we was still wild, man. It was like, you know, we knew that how serious it was now. We was like, well, if we continue to do that, we already know how we got to roll as far as going in them cribs. And that's why that case that I was telling you about, that's why we had hammers on us, because we know if you go on somebody's crib, you know, it's that serious like that. You know, you have to look at it, you have to put the shoe on the other foot and look at it like if somebody went in your crib and you came home. You know what I'm saying? I got an alarm system here and all that, Rodas Bond. I got an alarm system and I got cameras and all that, because I was a master burglar, so I know how to get in cribs, so I ain't gonna let nobody get in my crib, not if I can help it. You know what's crazy? A stick-up kid hate to get robbed, a burglar hate to get his crib robbed. You know, that's how shit is, you know. If you a burglar mad, you go and hit other people's crib and you come back and your crib got hit. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing if you a stick-up kid, you know? Like, you know, I be telling people, a lot of us we went through the ranks. It's, you know, ain't nobody invincible. It's other dudes. I used to see dudes take other dudes' stuff. I ain't gonna blow dudes up and all that. I could tell you who was doing the taking, but I ain't gonna say who they took stuff from and all that. I don't want to put dudes on blast and all that, but you know, I've seen a lot of dudes get their shit took. Like his brother I was telling you about, my man Dog Keller was nice with his hands, but dudes just come back from boosting and all that, and he run down on dudes and be like, yo, you know, he wants something, a polo shirt, a high shirt, something. And if the dude don't set him out, he snatch the dude whole bag. You know what I'm saying? Certain dudes, you know, the ones who he respected and, you know, that was family and peoples, he ain't gonna do that to. But some of these others, he was getting them. You know. I remember school, you know, and certain other brothers, when I was going to school in Somers and all that, they was taking dudes stuff and all that, you know. They was booking dudes. And it was dudes that was going out and doing burglaries and going out and taking money. And when they come back away with jewelry and all that, the dudes in the hood booked them for their shit. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit was going down, you know.